want to make any modification in your method or in your particular code, that time these methods will be useful. Means you can easily make some modification. Also, it will improve the readability of your code. Now, again, why do we write a method? So, hello, am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Yeah. So we understood what exactly a method is. Why do we write a method? So in method, we are just writing a particular code, line of code. Means you are going to avoid the repetition of your code. And what is the method? It is actually a particular function, we can say. Now method, how we write the method, what is the syntax for method, that all things we will see. Method declaration is the first part while writing the method. So method declaration will provide the information about all these things like method attribute. Then what will be the visibility of that particular method? What is the name of the method? What that method will going to return? Means we will say the return type of the method. What the arguments that method will have? Arguments is actually a part which is actually an optional thing. Yeah, but method declaration will combinedly contain all these things. So access specifier, what the access specifier will do, it will specify the scope of your method. Means method should be visible to particular class only or to the particular package only. So you can set that particular specification for security purpose. You can specify that. So that is the access specifier. Second thing will come in method declaration, that you have to mention what that method will going to return. So we all know what are the return types like integer, float, character. If your method will not going to return anything, then we will write there void. Okay, so that is the second component of your method declaration. Next is the method name. So what basically we will give the method name, what code you are going to write in your method body, depending upon that we will write the method name. Suppose your method is calculating the addition, then you can give the name as addition. If your method is going to give some student details, then you can name it as student details. So like that you can give any name to your method. Next is the parameter list. So your method can have the parameters or may not have the parameters. Okay, that is the optional part, but that also comes under the method declaration. So this is the syntax of method declaration. And within this opening and curly bracket, you can write your statements. Multiple statements you can write there. So this is what we have seen. Method signature. Every method have a method signature. It is actually a part of method declaration only. And what does it contain? Method signature. So your method name and parameter list. This one, method name and parameter list. This part will come under method signature. Next is the access specifier. So access specifier will specify the visibility, or that will give additional security to your method. If you are declaring your method as a public, then that method will be accessible to everywhere, to all classes, to inside your package, outside the package. Private access modifier, what it will do, it will just give the scope limited to that particular class. So if you are writing any method as a private method, if you are writing access specifier as a private to that method, so that method will be accessible
प्रीमिक्स का नहीं करेगा पाउडर का नहीं
Hello, am I audible? Yeah, so next component is return type.
Yes.
So return type is the type of data that your method will going to return. Okay, if your method is not going to return, you cannot left it empty. You have to mention their void keyword. Void keyword will specify that this method is not returning anything. Next is the method name. So you can give any method name as per the code that you are going to write in that method. The method name should be identifiable, means by using that method name you should be able to identify that what that particular method will going to do, what will be the functionality of that method. Like that name you have to give to that particular method. Next is the parameter list, means n number of parameters you can give to your method, and all those parameters will be separated by the comma. So in parameters, you will write the data type of the parameter and name of the parameter. For example, integer A, integer B, like that, n number of parameters, but you should have to mention the data type and the name of the parameter. And next is the method body. So method body will be contained in curly brackets, opening and closing curly brackets, and inside that you will write multiple statements. So that will be the method body. So this is the syntax for writing any method. First one is the access modifier. You can specify the scope here, scope of your method or visibility of that particular method. Next is the return type, what that method will going to return. Next is the method name, the name of the method. So these three things are actually the compulsory one that you cannot avoid. You have to specify compulsory there. Last is the arguments. So argument part is actually optional, means if your method having parameters you can specify there, n number of parameters you can specify, but if you don't want to assign any parameters there, you can skip that part. Here is the example of method. So how you will write the method? Public is the access modifier. Next is the return type. So what is the return type? And demo is your method name. So every method should have this rounded brackets. Every method should have the rounded brackets after the method name, and inside the curly brackets you will have the particular line of statements that you can write. Next example, public int test. So this is the another method. Public is again the access modifier, int is the return type, test is the method name, and it also doesn't have any parameters, so it is also non-parameterized methods. There are some things that you have to remember regarding these methods. Access modifier can be, or access specifier can be anything like public, private, protected, default. You can take anything as per the requirement of your project. Okay, next, return type can also be anything, any data type you can take as a return type. It can be primitive data type or it can be non-primitive data type. In primitive data type, you can have integer, float, character, or in non-primitive data type, you can have string or any user-defined data type that you can take as a return type. So there is no restriction on what return type you can take. Depending upon your requirement, again, you can take. Arguments can be of any type, any data type you can have again for the arguments. So depending upon what kind of parameters you are passing to that particular method, depending upon their type of data, what type of data that will going to hold. So depending on that, you can specify the data type for that arguments also. Now there are some types of the methods: static method and non-static methods. So static method, when we declare a method with static keyword, so whenever you are writing static keyword in front of your method name, that time that particular method will called as static method. And these static methods are class related methods. So generally what is there, methods are actually object related, means whenever you want to call the method, object you have to compulsory use. Without using object you cannot call the methods, but these static methods are actually different. These are not object level, these are class level methods. We can call these static methods using three ways. There are three ways if you want to call or use the static method. So how you can use that? By using the class name. So in what class you are writing that static method, depending using that class name, you can call the static method. Second way is by creating the object. So in what class you have written that static method, using that class object, you can write the static method. And the third type that you can use to call this method is by using the method name directly. So if you want to call this static method in the same class where you have written no, that time you can directly call that. Means directly you can use the method name. No need to write the class name or no need to create the object for that. Now next is non-static method. We have seen that static methods are class level methods, but these non-static methods are object level methods. So non-static methods, how you will write? In static methods, you just have to write the static keyword, but in non-static method, you don't write any specific keyword. You can write a simple method like the syntax we have seen. So this is the normal non-static method syntax. Just access specifier, return type, method name, and arguments. So this is the non-static method. Non-static methods are object level method. So if you want to call the non-static method or you want to use the non-static method, it is compulsory that you need to create the object of that class. Then only you can call that these non-static methods. Example of non-static method. See, here we have taken one class name is employee, and in that we have one main method. Main method is actually a starting point. This public static void main is a starting point of your program. Whenever you execute any program, that program execution will always start from this entry point. This is the entry point for execution of your program. And what we have done, we have taken one non-static method. What is that non-static method? This public void get salary. See, here we have not written static or non-static. Any special keyword we have not written. We just have written a simple method, public void get salary, and after that in body we have written these some particular code like to get the salary, to display the salary, that particular line we have written. So this is what how we can write the non-static method. Now method with arguments. So till now what we have seen just a simple method. In the get salary method, we have not passed any parameter. And what the method with argument, see the next example. This public class employee. This is again the employee class. And what we are doing here, we are writing one non-static method, that is get EMP ID, means get employee ID, and we are passing one parameter. So what is the parameter here? ID is the parameter. Now we know ID means going to specify some numbers, some digits, and for that what data type we will use? Integer. So this is the method with parameter. Single parameter we are passing here, and in the method body we are just printing that particular employee's ID. So this is the example of how we can write the method with arguments or method with parameters. Okay, you can pass n number of parameters if you want to your method. Like the integer ID, we can pass name, address, city, n number of arguments we can pass. Now, this is the most important question. In most of the exams, in most of the interviews, this question will be asked, like why the main method is static in Java. Now we know the static keyword is associated with a class. So if you define any method with the static keyword, that method will become a class level method. Okay, now if you declare main method as static, just now I have told you that the public static void main, this is the execution main first entry point of your Java program. So whenever the execution will start, this method will be responsible to execute the program. In every program or in every application, this main method, writing this main method is mandatory. So if you don't declare if the Java developers has not declared this method as static, then every time we need to create the object of that particular class. So if you are creating the object of class, means JVM need to allocate a specific memory to that particular class. So your code will also get, means your length of code will get maximum, and again a memory wastage will be there, because every time the object will create, and if the object is going to create, then we have to JVM has to specify some memory to that particular object. So just to avoid the unwanted uses of memory, and to reduce the length of your code, we have declared this main method as static, so that you can directly use that method. You don't need to create the object, and you don't need to allocate any memory. That is what the reason why this static method is main method is static in Java. So that's all about the today's session about the methods. Thank you so much, everybody. If anyone have any doubt, they can ask the questions.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
No doubts, ma'am.
Yeah, so I want to clear some things like Java is one of the vast technology nowadays. Means if you are going with the Java, no, your scope will not going to reduce anywhere. The job openings are there are much many openings for Java developers nowadays, and the salary, means if you're freshers, if you're going as a fresher, you can easily get the package about 4 to 5 if you're going in small scale company as well, no. And the future is very bright for Java. If means you're planning to go with the coding part, no, then there is no any substitution for Java. Java is the best technology if you're planning to go with coding development, or if you want to make your bright career in IT. No, Java is the best thing that you can do. Job roles in Java, like mostly you can go as a Java developer. Apart from that, you can go as a full stack developer also.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello guys, anybody having any doubts or queries? Any? Okay guys. Uh, Thank you, Shraddha. Thanks for this session. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.